baseball on ABC 7.
Cubs have gone 2-2 on this road trip, but because of the Brewers' struggles, the Cubs are in first place, sole possession of first, and they have the best record currently in the National League. Game 2, Cubs and Padres, after the Cubs won in extra innings in the opener last night. Late night of Cubs baseball here on ABC 7, along with Jim DeShays. I'm Len Casper. The Cubs erased 3 one-run deficits in an extra innings win last night, and we'll get right into our Hooters hot plays of the game.
Yeah, for the third time this year, they won a ball game. They were trailing entering the ninth inning. It came down to Anthony Rizzo. Victor Caratini was hit by a pitch with 2 outs and nobody on. Rizzo 3-2, so the Cubs literally down to their last strike when he delivered that game-tying double.
And then Javier Baez stealing second base and a double error. The throw by Hedges, and then Manuel Margot with a little bobble out in center field. He scores from first base. That's your winning run. And the Hooters hot plays brought to you by your Chicagoland Hooters. And now the Chrysler out-of-town scoreboard. Get your family ready to roll with a new vehicle from the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. The Brewers not scoring runs. They got swept in a doubleheader today.
Yeah, they scored 2 runs in the ninth inning of the nightcap. They were already down 6-0, so kind of consolation runs there. They've lost 5 in a row. The bats have gone quiet, and you just wonder what the sense of urgency is like with the Brewers. The way things played out last year, remember the Cubs surging in the second half. Brewers cratered, Cubs end up winning the division.
And your standings are brought to you by the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way. So only 2 games to go before the All-Star break, and a win tonight would guarantee at least a 500 trip, and the Cubs hoping for a lot better than that. We'll preview the pitching matchup when we return to Petco Park. Chicago Cubs baseball on ABC 7 is being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today. By Mattress Firm. Go to mattressfirm.com to see how far your budget can stretch. By your local Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai today. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. to you by Chrysler. Get your family ready to roll with a new vehicle from the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. By U.S. Waterproofing, a better basement starts with us. By the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group, you're going to like buying a car this way. And by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Southern California native Kyle Hendricks will take the ball tonight. His final start of the first half, coming off his best outing of the year on Monday. And Luis Perdomo really struggling for the Padres as we check out our Goodwill pitching matchup.
Yeah, Kyle dazzling last time out against the Giants. Went 8 1/3, allowed just 5 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. He walked 1 man. It's actually the last batter he faced in the game. Punched out 8. Lots of swings and misses on the changeup. The best we've seen from him all year. Perdomo has spent a good chunk of the year down in AAA. Got off to a really bad start. Got sent out. Has come back and made 2 starts. The last of which was Monday against the Dodgers. He lasted 7 innings but allowed 10 hits and 6 earned runs.
Goodwill, amazing finds only at Goodwill. We are set for Cubs baseball from San Diego. We'll have all the action right around the corner.
Delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today.
I've been looking forward to JD's Subaru Keys to the Game. They're presented by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
You know, this is called Petco Park. So pet friendly refers to Kyle Hendricks, who's been really good here, including his first ever Major League shutout back in 2015. Pet unfriendly, the guy on the mound for the Padres tonight, Perdomo, 3 starts here. He's lost them all, has an 11.57 ERA, and making hay refers to Jason Hayward. Really good numbers against the Padres and good numbers here at Petco as well. So there you go.
We are underway. Anthony Rizzo in the leadoff spot for the 2nd consecutive night. And that is on the outside corner. And the count is 1-1 on the former Padre. Perdomo coming back on a 1-1, and it's a little bit off the inside. It's 2-1.
So Perdomo making his 7th start for the Padres this year. Things have not gone well, have they? 1-3 with a 7.09 ERA. Made 4 starts, got knocked around, got sent down to AAA, and he pitched really well there. And this is his 3rd start since coming back from the minor leagues. He's a guy who has always been fastball slider, and he's starting to mix in more changeups as they try to develop that 3rd pitch for him. Has a hard time putting hitters away, doesn't strike out many, and the walk rate is a little too high as well.
And he just walked the leadoff man, Rizzo. And let's check out the rest of the Cubs Southwest Airlines lineup. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Chris Bryant coming up, followed by Jason Hayward in the 3 spot for the first time as a Cub. Baez cleans up. Happ in center batting 5th. Kyle Schwarber is in left hitting 6th. Addison Russell, Victor Caratini, and Kyle Hendricks. And here is Bryant with a man on, nobody out. 3rd game back from the DL, and takes ball 1 outside.
Mostly sinking fastballs from Perdomo. He's a guy who typically pitches to contact, tries to get ground balls. The batting average against him is sky high, 351.
Inside, and he's behind Bryant, and A.J. Ellis will head out and talk things over. Weather at first pitch brought to you by 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons. 75 degrees. Very calm evening.
Yeah, we kind of lucked out. This is typically what we get in San Diego, but had we been here a week earlier, it would have been dicey. It was smoking hot here last weekend. But, it's a good night to sprout out a blanket, kick off your shoes, and take in some hardball.
Bryant 2 for 10, a double and a home run since he came back from the left shoulder injury, and he's sitting in a favorable count here. Even more so now. It's 3-0, and Perdomo hasn't been particularly close in this sequence.
Yeah, you see he's given up a lot of hits. Only 1 home run, 26 2/3 innings at the big league level this year.
There's a strike according to DJ Rayburn behind home plate.
It's kind of weird when you look at his AAA numbers. He made 11 starts down there. He was 6-2 with a 3.10. There he gave up 12 home runs in 69 innings. Originally signed by the Cardinals, was a Rule 5 draft pick by the Rockies, and then traded over to the Padres. He never did pitch for the Rockies.
3-1 to Bryant is pulled a foul past third base. Joining Rayburn, Ryan Blackney at first, Sam Holbrook, the crew chief, at second, and Jim Wolf is over at third. Decent lead by Rizzo, being held by Hosmer, and he takes off on a 3-2, a strikeout, and a stolen base. Rizzo playing the leadoff man here with his 4th steal of the season. And 1 out here in the Cubs opening inning.
Yeah, the running here, it's all about staying out of the double play. Joe's anticipating ball in play, but Perdomo gets the swing and miss from Bryant. And fortunately, Anthony got a good enough jump and was able to swipe that bag.
Andy Green checking with his video room, and he will not challenge the safe call at second. Here's Jason Hayward batting third for the first time with the Cubs, the 132nd time in his career. In the dirt for ball 1. Jason's made starts in the top 8 spots in the order in the big leagues, and there's a lot of consistency. He's kind of the same guy no matter where you put him. And if he can knock in Rizzo here, it would be the 500th RBI of his career. That's a strike.
He was probably really looking forward to this road trip. He's been really good up in San Francisco, and against the Padres, among active players, his .340 batting average is the highest.
Our league leaders brought to you by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Clubbed to deep right, and it will be caught by Reyes. Hayward just missed one, as Rizzo will end up at third. 2 outs here in the first inning.
Well, when he first struck that one, I thought he was going to knock it out of here. Well, let's check in with the rest of the Padres defensively. Myers plays left. Jankowski, speedy guy in center. He was the right fielder last night, but Reyes is there tonight. Villanueva third. Galvis top notch at short. Asuaje and Hosmer on the right side, and the veteran A.J. Ellis is behind the plate.
Big hand for Javier Baez. You can hear all the Cub fans in San Diego. A raucous atmosphere last night. Perdomo will work from the wind with a runner at third and 2 outs, and a swinging strike. Second time Perdomo has faced the Cubs. Really good against them last year in a no decision. And the 0-1 up and in. That was an off-speed pitch.
The Cubs came in here last year and got swept in a 3-game set. All the pitchers were good against the Cubs hitters. That one in particular.
Off the inside corner. Perdomo trying to skate around a leadoff walk.
Leadoff walk and then 3-0 on Chris Bryant, so it was looking dicey. He was able to scramble back, punch out KB, and then got a little lucky. Hard contact by Hayward, but a line out. And that's oftentimes the story for a pitcher. You got to have a little good fortune early on until you settle in.
Called strike 3. So Perdomo fans a couple. Cubs lead Rizzo at third. Padres are coming up. Fix Auto. Call 1-800-INFO-FIX for the nearest location. Fix Auto, the first words that should come to mind after an accident. Jankowski homered last night. Aswahe at second base. Myers, Hosmer, Franmil, Reyes. A lot of power, but a lot of swing and miss. The veteran Ellis back of the plates had a good offensive season. Villanueva, the former Cub farmhand, followed by Freddie Galvis and the pitcher Perdomo, and Kyle Hendricks working tonight. Starts Jankowski with a strike.
Strike one he did with regularity in that start against the Giants. It was an impressive show for the year. Still work to be done. 5-8 ERA at 3.93. This is his 19th start.
Wilson Contreras caught him on Monday, and he pitched into the 9th inning, and he's working with Victor Caratini tonight.
And he works with this mix of pitches: fastball, changeup, curveball. And you see he leans heavily on the fastball changeup combination, usually sinkers, but last time he actually threw more four-seamers than sinkers, and he mixed in a few more curveballs than we normally see, and it all worked so well for him.
Jankowski fouls.
Very in tune to his mechanics. Said about the 3rd inning in that start, things just kind of clicked in for him and really got into a groove. There's quality baby hanging out at the yard.
Jankowski chokes up a little bit, and that little liner will be caught by Addison Russell. One away.
Well, let's see who else is out there with Addison Russell. Kyle Schwarber's out there in lefty and Hap center. Jason Hayward is in right. Russell and Baez are up the middle. Brian Rizzo have the corners covered, and Victor Caratini put down the fingers for Kyle.
Carlos Aswahe, the second baseman, 2 for 4 plus a walk last night. 3:13 to start July. Takes ball 1. Cubs at 53-38 have the best mark in the National League. They're a game ahead of Milwaukee, and they've got a bunch of games in hand. They have 4 fewer losses than the Brewers. So it's kind of like a 1-game lead, but even better than that. Fouled out of play, so the Brewers will limp into the break. They'll try to avoid a 5-game series sweep tomorrow in Pittsburgh. The Cubs will start the second half with a 5-game series, including a day-night doubleheader against the Cardinals at Wrigley Field.
Cardinals having their struggles as well, losing to Cincinnati tonight, and they're 7 games back.
Yeah, the Pirates and the Reds at the bottom playing some pretty good baseball. Cubs have won 11 of their last 15, and that ball is yanked into right. Aswahe has the first hit of the night.
Changeup kind of floated up in the strike zone for Aswahe, and we'll rip it into right field.
Yeah, the Cubs tied the game in the 9th on the Rizzo 2-out double. Then they won it in the 10th on Javier Baez's base running. But you could argue they won the game, or at least they didn't lose the game in the 1st inning. Tyler Chatwood loaded the bases with nobody out, and he only gave up 1 run. The Padres missed a golden opportunity to jump out to a big lead.
Yep, damage control. Chatwood hung in there. 5 innings of 3-run ball. Walked 3, struck out 2.
The regrettable sequence for him was 2-out hit by Clayton Richard, the pitcher, and then the 2-run homer by Jankowski in the 2nd. Will Myers red hot. Cooled off a little bit last night, 0 for 4 with a walk, but he's got 6 home runs over his last 7 games.
Yeah, Myers, Hosmer, they're 2 best guys, combined to go 0 for 9 last night. see over the last week, Myers has been doing his part, and the rest of the club, not so much.
And Swahe, not a stolen base threat. Myers swings and misses. 1-2 on him. Padres strike out a lot, and there were a ton of swings and misses last night. Changeup.
Yeah, and Kyle got a bunch of swings and misses in his start against the Giants, and I just figured he'd be able to exploit this Padre lineup.
Very defensive half swing foul. Padres struck out 14 times in game 1. This is 2018 baseball. They had 10 hits, but 14 strikeouts. Runner takes off, pitches low, and Swahe has the first stolen base of his major league career. Noted this last night. A little surprising that a little over 150 games into his career, he had yet to steal a base until just now.
And change up that Caratini had to reach for a little bit and got out of sync with his footwork, kind of a stumble and fling. He's trying to avoid the sack there.
Stumble and fling. I think that was the long lost Fleetwood Mac record that never got released. 3-2.
Oh, man in scoring position. Guys that get paid to drive in runs get greedy here.
Got him. Myers thought he had ball 4. Instead he strikes out.
He tried not to be greedy. He tried to be disciplined, and the two-seamer ran back to the outside corner. Hendricks covers the edges as well as anybody in the game. I think that's a guy who was hunching heavily on changeup and couldn't pull the trigger on the fastball.
Hosmer in his first year with the Padres after signing an 8-year free agent contract. And slumping big time. 0 for his last 16 and 4 for his last 55 with only 2 extra base hits.
Yeah, he hits it on the ground as much as anybody in the game, and Hendricks is a ground ball pitcher, so that's the most likely outcome when these two guys match up.
And so Swahe at second with 2 outs here in the first inning.
Oof.
Towering blast, and Hosmer makes it 2-0, and that ties Kyle Hendricks' career high, is 17th home run allowed.
Yeah, a whole bunch of them coming in the first inning. That's been a real issue for him. So much for the ground ball from Eric Hosmer. It was a ground ball, but the first bounce was about 410 feet away. That had to feel awfully good for Hosmer, who, as Len mentioned, has been in a terrible funk.
Well, a good hitter, typically you see those numbers and you think, guy's going to be due, and he just homered for the first time in a while.
He was due and he done.
That's Hosmer's first homer since June 12th in St. Louis, so it's been over a month. And his 10th overall, Franmil Reyes. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Reyes, you watch him take a little BP. He's got big time power. How much it will translate in the games at the major league level, yet to be seen.
That's a strike. Reyes has combined for 21 home runs at AAA in the majors in 86 games this season. 2-2 change off the end of the bat and popped into shallow center. And Baez makes a catch. Hosmer smoked one into the seats and right. That's 2-0 Padres after one. ABC7 Eyewitness News, Terrell Brown, Tanya Babich, Ross Barron, and meteorologist Tracy Butler get you ready for the week with the latest news, weather, and traffic. Luis Perdomo has had a rough go this season, but he's got a 2-0 lead early on tonight. Came in with an ERA of 7.09. And a first pitch strike on Ian Happ. Ian playing center and batting fifth. Perdomo was suspended for 5 games in April due to his role in a brawl they had in Colorado. He then got sent to the minors after he was reinstated from that suspension. And JD referenced his solid numbers at AAA El Paso before he returned in early July. This was a nasty one. He threw behind Arenado and then threw the glove at him and then backpedaled. And Arenado is not going to be denied.
Bull, yeah. I'm going to guess that's the fastest Perdomo's ever moved backwards in his life.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that. He's a very fast runner.
Yeah, he had 4 triples last year.
Yeah, he did.
Who does that?
Well, Robin Roberts did it in 1955. He was the last guy to do it.
I wanted to see a StatCast backpedal speed on this one. He had a strategy. He was ready to fling the glove, but
he missed with the glove and the ball.
Undeterred, a big right hand from Arenado. Did not score. Did not land the big right. If he did, Perdomo might have been out cold.
Happ in the air to deep center. Jankowski back at the wall. It's gone, and the Cubs on the board. It's 2-1. His 11th.
When sinkers don't sink. Hosmer got Hendricks. Happ gets Perdomo. Cubs have been quite the comeback team so far this year.
Toyota home run replay. Each team with a homer here early on.
First one since July 1st for Ian. It's against the Twinkies.
Kyle Schwarber. First start of the series. 2 balls, no strikes. He and Javier Baez will compete in the Home Run Derby Monday in D.C. His winter BP throwing partner Mike Sinicola will join Kyle.
Kyle has every confidence that his buddy Mike will be up for it.
Javi will have his older brother Gadiel throw to him.
Yeah, because that's a bright spotlight. You know, sometimes you see guys get a little yippy when throwing BP, especially in an event like that.
Two is hit hard on the ground into center. There's some good exit velocity in this second inning. Happ the homer and Schwarber the base hit.
Yeah, and go back to Hayward's swing in the first inning against a pretty good wax at Perdomo here. I mentioned since coming back to the minor leagues, he's been using his changeup a little bit more. It's tough to survive at this level as a two-pitch guy unless you are really precise and have tremendous movement. Let's see if he starts to use the changeup a little bit more against the left-handed hitters in particular.
Addison Russell fouls away. Happ's home run off the bat was 104 miles an hour. Schwarber's base hit 111.
Happ had better launch angle.
Downstairs on Russell. Perdomo listed at 6'2", 197. Another ball. Hit a ton and whew.
Yeah, she was not going to bail. She was ready to make the play.
She was not intimidated.
Might have been the hardest hit ball of them all. He did try the change up there, and it was a hanger. It was a floater.
Missed outside. Caratini on deck. Hosmer with a two-run homer in the first. Happ led off this second with a blast. Villanueva, a Suaje, and that's all they'll get.
Grab your friends, get your Cubs gear, and get out to Wrigley Field because the Cubs want everybody in. The best availability for tickets this month would be the 4-game set with the Diamondbacks July 23rd through the 26th. Plan now to get the seats you want at Cubs.com.
There wasn't a lot of flow to that double play chance as Villanueva couldn't really get his feet in the right place. That ball was not hit that hard. And Russell hustling down the line stayed onto the double play. Victor Caratini batting. Looking for his first homer of the season. He hit one last year.
Just missed one the other day in San Francisco. He banged one off the wall in right center.
He came off the bench late last night. Got hit by a pitch from Brad Hand, and that set up the tying run. He was removed for a pinch runner. Jason Hayward, who scored on the Rizzo double. StatCast is powered by AWS as we take another look at the Ian Happ home run. Ballpark's got some quirky angles to it in the outfield. It's a
big yard, a good pitcher's park, tight down the right field line. You see the little Petco porch there.
Yeah, this year it has actually been one of the better offensive parks, which definitely goes against its reputation. A larger sample size says it definitely favors pitchers. They have moved in the fences over the years. The official address of Petco Park is 19 Tony Gwynn Drive.
So has it been more hitter friendly relative to its past or relative to the rest of the league?
Both.
Because of the rest of the league, I think with so much cold weather early on, obviously they don't experience that out here. So you think that might influence those numbers a little bit.
In terms of runs scoring environment, it actually has been just a little better than Wrigley Field this season. Swing and a miss for a strike 3. And that'll bring up the pitcher Hendricks.
Perdomo's issue is just primarily just consistency. He's got good enough stuff to settle in up here. You know, he's got good movement on the fastball. So it's 93, 94. Every now and then he gets on top of and snaps off a real good slider, but there's been some floaters too.
Outside for a ball. The area where they really shortened was out in right center. That was a spot where you very rarely, if ever, saw a ball get over the fence. Originally 411 in that area, right center field. Called strike. Of course, Brian Giles and was it Ryan Klesko?
Yep.
Phil Nevin, they probably all thought, well, you had to wait till we retired before you moved in the fences. Called strike 3. It's 2-1 Padres early after the half homer.
Baseball on ABC 7 is being brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. By Insure on the Spot. For quality insurance you can afford, head to insureonthespot.com. By Lakeside Bank. Personal customized banking. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And by Autobarn Alfa Romeo in Evanston. For the largest selection on new Alfa Romeos, shop the Autobarn Alfa Romeo in Evanston.
Hey, you know, folks, you can now watch every remaining ABC7 broadcast of Cubs baseball on Facebook Live, presented by BioFreeze, the official external pain reliever of the Chicago Cubs. Check out tonight's broadcast right now at facebook.com/Cubs.
Veteran catcher A.J. Ellis leading off for San Diego here in the bottom of the second. The 1-0 from Hendricks is in the zone for a strike.
He's back in SoCal. Spent a number of years with the Dodgers and moved on in 2016 to the Phillies after a trade. Last year he was with the Fish.
Always has had a good eye at the plate. Typically is hit for a low average. This year, though, .295 and hitting on base 40% of the time. Two and two. Here it is, and Ellis fouls. So it's his 11th big league season. He's 37. Product of Austin Peay State University.
Looks like Cal Ripken.
A little bit.
Hey, you know, Dave Island used to be the pitching coach here. Got a whole Ellis Island thing going on.
Right.
If only.
Pitch number 8 fouled out of play.
This is a start number 7 for Kyle in his career against the Padres. He's 3-1, .250 lifetime against San Diego. They got him last year, though. He allowed 5 runs in 5 innings, suffering a loss.
Hands over his head, another 3-2, and Ellis fouls this one off. You don't get any awards for working 10 pitch at bats, but you take a lot out of that opposing pitcher when you do it. And no matter the result, you'll get some high fives in the dugout. This time he gets him.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We always talk about it. Way out of good. He had a quality at bat, a good at bat. Well, if you look at that little grid we just had up, there was a lot of pitches in the middle of the strike zone that he didn't do anything with. The lengthy at bat can be a byproduct of just not putting a hittable pitch in play.
Do you also think his reputation, you know, Kyle ranks very highly. In fact, I think going into his last start, he led the major leagues in working the edges of the strike zone. So he placed more pitches in that, you know, that edge on the box where you can get away with stuff in the middle because guys are looking to those zones.
I think in the changeup too. I think a lot of times they're just so cognizant of the changeup they foul the fastball back. Even when it's 86 and right over the heart of the plate. And there's a swing through on one right there.
These two guys were traded together from Texas to the Cubs in 2012 for Ryan Dempster. Villanueva never got to the big leagues with the Cubs. That's a changeup for a strike. But here he is playing a lot with the Padres, and he's got 18 home runs. We're not even at the All-Star break. in the dirt.
Well, 18 home runs, 42 driven in for Villanueva are Padre rookie records pre-All-Star break.
Fouled out of play. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. Ooh. Oh, so close. 3-2.
Last year, Hunter Renfroe had 16 home runs before the break to establish that record. Now it belongs to Villanueva. I mean, a record. It's not anything that's going to get you into the Hall of Fame, but it's.
And we've left the All-Star game around the same date, but we started 4 days earlier, so most teams have played more games. That one is hooked to deep left, and Schwarber can't get it. It'll one-hop the wall. Villanueva will stop at second with a double.
Padres gets a pretty good whack at Kyle here. He leaned on that one, just soft down and away. He stayed on it, kept his head in as opposed to pulling off.
Freddie Galvis, the shortstop, has started every game for the Padres. This is their 98th of the year. Yeah, so the All-Star break for the Padres will come after 99 games. That's not really the halfway point.
No.
It's well beyond it.
Beyond it. 81 is the halfway point. And yeah, typically the All-Star game is a little bit later on the calendar this year too. Usually it's around the 12th, 13th, 14th. Happy Bastille Day, by the way.
Thank you. You too. Happy birthday to our buddy Steve Stone. Happy birthday to my dad Joe.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Joe. They were
Joe.
born on the same date, 1947.
So you could tell Stoney, you're old enough to be my dad. Literally.
I could.
Also, a big Cub fan Doug Randa celebrating a birthday today, and a special shout out to Libby, watching back in Chicago, convalescing.
Yeah, hope you're feeling a lot better, Libby. Two strikes on the switch hitting Galvis. Make it 1-2. He's had Kyle's number and limited at bats, 4 out of 9 with 3 doubles.
Can elevate against him with 2 strikes, and it's not normally Kyle's game, but every now and then he'll do it, and he did it more frequently last time than he normally does, and it was effective. It was an elevated changeup. One thing I've learned about Kyle Hendricks, you know, normally when you see a high changeup, you think, well, it's just a bad pitch. You talk to Kyle and Basio over the years. No, it's something that he likes to do every now and then. And
well, if you're trying to stay out of patterns, it would make sense that you should be able to elevate off-speed pitches on occasion just to change it up. You know, it's that bad backup slider that guys probably can't really throw but sometimes do, and it works. You might have a pitcher say, oh, I meant to do that, but I don't know.
They say Catfish Hunter used to do that on purpose. Just a little backdoor slider or backup slider over the middle of the plate, but up.
Hitter thinking it's going to find the barrel, and it never quite gets there.
Yeah, guys end up jamming themselves.
In the air to left, and Russell in front of Schwarber will make the grab. Now Perdomo, we mentioned it last year, he had 5 hits, a double and 4 triples. That tied the major league record for a pitcher in a single season. Hall of Famer Robin Roberts had 4 back in 1955. The Toronto Blue Jays as a team last year hit 5. He is not considered a very good hitter. He does have speed though. 136 career batting average.
Yeah, what he has like 8 career hits and half of them are triples or something crazy.
2 doubles, 4 triples. Yeah. Pitchers last year collectively had 8 triples. He had half of them. I'm guessing Jason Stark wrote about 6,000 words on that fact and would have made it all very interesting. Because sometimes baseball makes no sense. Swing and a miss. He strikes out. And after 2, Padres 2, Cubs 1.
Been impressive overall. 9 innings, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 182 batting average against. Carl not here, placed on the paternity list. Rob Zastryzny is here. Let's take a look at the perfect pitch brought to you by Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. You don't really think heater with Carl, especially that cutting fastball he can elevate as well as anybody. But lately the curveball has been a real big weapon for him. The other night in San Francisco, he punched out the side on 12 pitches and snapped off some outstanding curveballs. And it was in play again last night as well. Traditional German Weiss beer with natural lemonade flavor for a taste that's perfect lakeside, dockside, or just plain outside. Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. Welcome to the Liney side.
Rizzo walked and stole second in the first inning. And takes a strike. It's Austin P, by the way. I said Pay for some strange reason. I insulted everyone who's never gone to that university. It's Boise State and Austin P. Two-1 Padres. 2-run homer Hosmer in the first. Leadoff homer Happ for the Cubs in the second. Anthony snapped an 0 for 21 with 3 consecutive hits last night, including a game-tying double off the lefty Brad Hand with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And he admitted to reporters he had been fighting himself at the plate and said something just a little bit off mechanically. He said, I'm not really into the mechanical stuff that much, but just little tweaks. Swinging bunt picked up by Perdomo, and he'll get him.
There's so much muscle memory in this game and repetition that you can fall into bad habits and not even know it. Just, you know, something collapses a little bit in your swing that you don't even feel, and you can study it on video and maybe say, yeah, that's what I'm doing, but to replicate it in the box, especially in live action, can be hard to do. And sometimes it's just a matter of you just run into one. You just find your swing and you go, oh, that's right, that's what it feels like, and then you kind of go from there.
Bryant with a base hit to left past a diving Villanueva.
Villanueva with a quick reaction, but the ball blistered by Bryant, able to get on by into left.
Hayward lined to deep right in his first at bat. Batting third tonight with Rizzo leading off. That one off the end of the bat, and Myers will come in to get it. Monday, July 23rd, the Cubs battle the Diamondbacks at 7:05 p.m. Up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a Javier Baez bobblehead presented by Garrett Popcorn Shops. Good selection of tickets are still available for that game. Cubs.com. Go there to get the seats you want. Jason Hayward is steady as she goes. Doesn't seem to get too high or too low. As that ball is hit to deep center, and it'll stay in. Jankowski made the catch, but yeah, you'll hear Jason snap every once in a while after he did on that fly ball. 2-1 Padres in the third. San Diego, top of the order for the Padres. Ball one, and Travis Jankowski
Good time through the order. First curveball I believe we've seen from Kyle.
Jankowski's supplemental round pick, technically first round, 44th overall, 2012 out of Stony Brook University. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Make good cheese there.
Spiked one.
It's Amish country. Stony Brook's got a good program. They went to the World Series one year, didn't they?
They did. I think he was with them when that happened. He was the first round pick in that program's history.
Sea Dogs or something like that.
Sea Wolves.
Sea Wolves. See, first we got everybody at Austin P upset. Now we're going to have Sea Wolves everywhere upset with us.
We don't want Wolfie coming after us. Their mascot. Baez to Rizzo.
On Tuesday, July 24th, Cubs D-backs first pitch straight up 7:05, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans receive a 1980s Cub replica away jersey presented by Benjamin Moore. A good selection of tickets are still available for this game. Get yours at Cubs.com.
That will be a very popular item. And Schwahe takes a curve for a strike. He singled, stole a base, scored a run in the first inning.
He's elevated with a purpose.
And it's a swing, and it's 0-2.
Jim, not C. Wolf with the call, but brother of longtime Major League pitcher Randy Wolf.
Who pitched here, I believe, right? At one point.
Yep, I believe the Wolfman was here. Shout out to Logan and Dakota Ford staying up late to watch the Cubs tonight.
All-star John Lester gets the ball tomorrow. He will not be available to pitch in the All-Star game, although he will be there with his family. And we'll cheer on the National League from the dugout. Outside, 3-2. Eric Lauer will face the Cubs for the first time, the rookie left-hander. Schwahe has had quite a series. 4 for 6 plus a walk so far.
A 287 lifetime minor league average into this season. And not going to hit for a lot of power, but can spray the ball around the diamond. 270 with the Pods last year in 89 ball games.
By the way, Schwahe listed at 5'9", Jose Altuve listed at 5'6". Do we think Altuve is 5'6"? Really 5'6"?
I mean, you think he's shorter than 5'6"?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there a cutoff point where if you're below 5'6", you just say 5'6"?
Well, I think if you're Altuve, the shorter the better. You kind of dig it. Look at I'm 5'5" or 5'4", and I can do this.
Right. Yeah, he's one of the best players in the game. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and he has a lot of power as well.
And Jose putting together a Hall of Fame career so far in his 8th major league season. I'd have to look when I look at Altuve's baseball reference page. What jumps out at me, leading the league in hits, average, all that stuff, a lot of stolen bases, reminds me of Ichiro, kind of the right-handed version of Ichiro.
Yeah, I saw a note the other day showing how he compares favorably at this stage of his career to Joe Morgan. Obviously, second base in Houston. You think about Morgan and Craig Biggio, both Hall of Famers.
Smoked into left. Will Myers. That's back-to-back one-out singles, and it'll bring up the guy who got a booming home run in the first, Eric Hosmer, to snap an 0 for 16.
Yeah, Kyle just not locked in with his location here tonight, and Myers drifts into that one. And really well-struck ball by a Padre hitter.
Pitch count up there a little bit. This will be his 70th, and we're only in the 3rd inning, and a strike called.
Just not getting the ball on the ground like he normally does. And boy, this would be a good time. A little one hopper to Baez.
Oh, 2. Hendricks ready, and he'll fake towards second. Whoa. You ready for this?
Yes.
Mike Matheny has been fired.
Wow.
The Cardinals just released.
Yeah, it's
after they lost to the Reds.
Well, there's been a lot going on over there. The whole Dexter Fowler situation. There's this Bud Norris, Jordan Hicks deal, and a lot of talk about the clubhouse culture.
Bench coach Mike Schilt has been named the interim manager. John Mabry, the hitting coach, his assistant Bill Miller, and also dismissed. They get one. They get both. 4-6-3 double play.
Well, 1-1 hopper, but it was good enough to get the job done because Cubs middle infielder is about as good as they get. As good as it gets, I should say. And a flip from Baez, and Russell completes. We'll see if the Padres challenge there.
Still waiting, and Andy Green will not challenge. Padres 2, Cubs 1 after 3 from San Diego. entertainment escape. 2-1 Padres lead. The Cubs trailed 3 different times by a run last night. Tied it in the 9th. Got a run in the 10th and won the opener 5-4. Ian Happ went deep in the 2nd inning. Change-up strike this time. Oh, 2. Actually, the first pitch was a slider. Kind of backed up like a changeup might. Here comes a change. And he spiked it. Home Run Cam is brought to you by Toyota. Tested, trusted. Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Perdomo thought he had him in the backdoor slider.
Well, it's a tendency to fall off to the first base side, and sometimes he goes early. He'll fly open with that front shoulder. He stays closed a little bit. He gets better downward tilt on his slider instead of just that spinner. It's only 25. He turned 25 in May. Plenty of time for him to figure it out. And the Padres have time. They're not going anywhere foreseeable future in terms of contending. If you take a look at our Xfinity strike zone, you'll notice that that last pitch was way inside.
Lead off walk for Happ, and it'll bring up Schwarber. So 2 NL Central teams have fired their managers this season. Ryan Price let go after the Reds got off to their terrible start. Jim Riggleman's done a nice job as the interim guy. And now Mike Schilt takes over for the Cardinals. As JD once said, he's 1 letter away from being a Hall of Fame third baseman. Ball 1. Cardinals are 1 over 500 after the loss today. 47-46.
It will be interesting to see if Schilt remains in that job for the rest of the year, or if this is just temporary. If they have someone in mind.
And remember, Mike Matheny took over for Tony La Russa. They've had a lot of crushed, but way foul. They've had a lot of stability in that spot.
Yeah, Matheny had a lot of success, right from the get-go. I think the postseason 4 consecutive years with Matheny managing.
That was a record to start his career. Took over in 2012. So the last guy not named Matheny or La Russa to manage the Cardinals was Joe Torre back in 1995. Prior to him, it was Whitey Herzog who had a long run. One high, 2-1.
Kyle Bunnett base hit in San Francisco the other day with 2 strikes. The shift on now. It's a left-handed pitcher. Here's obviously 3-1 with a righty. I was thinking about doing some damage.
In the air to deep left. Myers back. All he can do is watch it go. Cubs lead 3-2.
elbow damage. You look at his home runs, and a lot of them have come 0-0, and a number of them on 3-1. He likes to ambush. He also likes to work counts, get into hitters' counts. That's the MO of so many sluggers. And doesn't try to pull. I mean, this is basically a one-handed pass at this thing. He's just so big and strong that he has the ability to hit that ball out of here the other way. That's big-time power.
A Toyota home run replay. That'd be a good derby swing, wouldn't it? And
yeah.
I like your idea of extra credit for an opposite field homer in the derby.
That's number 18 for him, tying Javi.
Called strike 3 to get Russell.
And that's such good feedback when you stay on the ball and you hit it the other way and you end up hitting it out of the ballpark. You know, it just reinforces what he already knows. He knows he's strong enough to leave any ballpark in any direction.
Two Cubs here in the fourth.
Cubs have played 4 one-run games in their last 5, 3 on this road trip.
Caratini in a favorable count, 3-1.
Particularly good strike to ball ratio there for Perdomo.
High bouncer will be collected by Perdomo, and he'll apply the tag for out number 2 as we check out the Cubs upcoming schedule. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. One more tomorrow, and then at 5 gamers starting Thursday night against a Cardinal team that has a new manager.
There's a lot of folks in St. Louis would like to see Jose Kendall get an opportunity to manage that club.
He is their third base coach. Slider strike. 1-2 on Hendricks, who has a lead tonight for the first time. Called strike 3. Kyle Schwarber with an opposite field home run. So he and Javi Baez both Stay ahead of the forecast. Meteorologists Cheryl Scott, Larry Mowry, Phil Schwartz, and Tracy Butler alert you first to changing conditions and severe weather. ABC 7 Eyewitness News, your AccuWeather station.
Save of the game is brought to you by Feldco. It's not been a lot of balls on the ground for Kyle Hendricks tonight, but he got a big one when he needed it with a couple of guys on. Eric Hosmer up there, 4-6-3. Inning over. Right now, Feldco save big with free installation on all windows, siding, and doors. Call 866-4-FELDCO today.
Franmil Reyes, 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. Cubs lead 3-2. All the runs coming tonight for both teams via the homer. A lot of the stuff coming out of St. Louis here the last couple of weeks was about the clubhouse culture. So forgetting their record, you had the John Mozeliak comments about Dexter Fowler. He then later clarified and said it was more about the whole team. And there have been stories about the relationship between Matheny and Dexter, that there really isn't much of one. There was the Athletic story that came out this week regarding Bud Norris and his old school approach in terms of mentoring Jordan Hicks, a young fireballing reliever.
Yeah, and it's hard to know exactly what was going on there. Hicks came to Norris's defense later in the week.
Reyes lines out,
saying, hey, he's just trying to nudge me in the right direction, help me be better. Apparently Hicks was late for meetings in spring training and things of that nature. And then I think the other part that got folks concerned is that Matheny really embraced the idea of Norris reporting back to him. So there was this. It's hard to know exactly what was going on, because if the knives are out for the manager, stories can get turned a certain way, whether it's from members of the media or the players themselves. If they decide they want to turn on a manager, you talk about releasing leaks.
Well, and I think the other part in the big picture, and this would apply to Joe Madden and Andy Green and every manager in the game. Mike Matheny didn't. And he was himself, and I think if he adjusted to try to become more like Joe, it would not have come off as genuine. So in that regard, I don't have a problem with Mike's kind of sticking to his guns in terms of, this is what I believe and this is how I'm going to manage. And as you said, it was successful for a long time.
He was quoted, it was a couple of years ago, a story where Mike said, baseball is not fun. This is work, man. This is serious stuff. He was an intense guy.
Charged by Bryant. Lots of time with the catcher running. 2 down.
And I may be misquoting him a little bit, but that was the general gist that because people wanted him to lighten up and he said, yeah, I could try to do that, but this is very serious. He's an intense guy. That's the way Tony La Russa was. Is just more of an old school approach. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work. Every clubhouse is different. And the challenge for a manager is to get the guys to buy into your program, whether it's the way Mike does it, or Joe with his more loosey-goosey approach.
One and 0 on Villanueva. So I guess they'll have a news conference tomorrow, and I'm sure John Mozeliak, the president of baseball ops, will have more insight in terms of the move. I think part of it has to be that the last couple of years, at least so far this season, they've been the team kind of on the outside looking in, as the Cubs and Brewers have been jockeying for position at the top of the division, and that is unfamiliar territory for the Cardinals. Hendricks with a 1-2. And the curve is low and outside. Hendricks would be on normal rest and available to pitch Thursday night coming out of the break. That seems to be the likely scenario, with Lester pitching tomorrow. Russell in shallow center and a nice shutdown. 1-2-3 for Hendricks. After 4, 3-2 Cubs.
America runs on Duncan.
Looked like Tommy. It's supposed to be just a light little tap on the cheek, maybe a little too hard.
I would have to have a playbook if I were a modern player to know all the handshakes with my different teammates. Let's go home and study.
Base hit. Well, that had a great sound off the bat.
Yeah, this is good. This is a very nice development last night and now tonight. Walk and a bullet to right. Have a nice weekend heading into the break and get after it in the second half.
Chili Davis, the Cubs hitting coach, likes that. Bryant 1 for 2. 5th inning, 3-2 Cubs lead. Every game on this trip has been tight, and going back to Sunday, 4 of the previous 5 games have gone to extra innings. Be nice to have a little separation.
You looking for a nice little 8-2 W?
Yeah, that would be fine.
The drama, the stress, kind of getting to you a little bit.
Well, no. I can't say that.
How about a 19-6er? That's what happened today in Minnesota. The Rays thumped the Twins.
And didn't they score a bunch of those runs late?
Yeah, I think they did because Williams Astudillo pitched. The kid we saw with the Twins, that they called up, the longtime minor leaguer who was famous for not striking out or walking. It was kind of ironic. As a pitcher, he allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, but he didn't walk anybody and he didn't strike anybody out. He did allow 2 home runs.
Ground ball cut off by Villanueva, and he'll only get 1, and he was lucky to get that. That low throw handled by Asuaje.
Okay, there was some indecision on the part of Villanueva where to go with this ball, but upon further review, no, it was just a matter of getting a handle on the ball. A little double clutch, but still got the lead man. Yeah, the The Rays got 5 in the 8th off Matt Belisle, and then 5 off the position player Astudillo.
Robbie Erlin, a left-hander.
For 2 tonight, but we mentioned how good he's been against the Padres in his career. He's been good in this yard. His last 15 games in this ballpark, prior to tonight, he was batting .368 with a slugging percentage up over 700.
Bryant with 2 steals this season. A medium lead at first, and the pitch is way wide. 1-2 on Hayward.
Strength of the Padres team this year has been their bullpen. At or near the bottom of the league in just about every offensive category. The starting pitching has not been very good, but the bullpen has been pretty solid. The 4th best bullpen ERA in the league coming into play last night.
Padres have a really good farm system. They expect to be better next year and the year after that when a lot of these top prospects get here. And in 2 years, they're going to have a new look. Really interesting article in the San Diego Union Tribune. Some insights into the Padres and how they're researching what fans want in terms of the new uniforms.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't think the Padres are fully committed, but it sounds like the brown and gold is kind of where they're leaning. Based on the feedback, there are some fans here who are really passionate about that color scheme. Some like the current navy look. And I think what is tipping the scales is that passion for the brown and gold is just a little higher than for the other color schemes.
Hey, there's Raleigh Fingers. Is that Harry the Heckler?
That's Harry. Yeah.
Got a little Dick Williams vibe going on there. Dick never had a ponytail.
I guess they were looking at different versions of the uniform, and they were looking at the brown and orange. They had orange for a while, navy blue and orange. That is a fair ball. With Bryant on the move, he'll head to third. Myers' throw goes towards second, and Hayward is out. He thinks he got in. As that throw is going to second, I thought Bryant might try to score. And I think the Cubs were a little surprised that Myers did throw to second base. Because if Brian Butterfield knew he was going to, I think he sends Chris and he scores.
It's a strong throw. Myers has a good arm, not always accurate. He's safe, and he never does let go of the base. This is going to be overturned.
This manager's challenge is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Safe, and he never loses contact with the base.
So that will be a double.
That's great agility for the big man. Sam Holbrook, second base umpire, with the call.
Hayward is safe at second. And second and third with only one out for Baez.
Infield in. Kind of interesting with the two in scoring position.
They're both going to score. Baez around first on his way to second. Cubs lead 5-2.
Really starting to deliver some body blows to Perdomo here. Some real solid contact. That's what you get when you throw a belt high over the heart of the plate to Javi Baez these days. It's going to make a big noise.
That will be it for Perdomo. Andy Green's going to make a double switch. Baez now with 68 knocked in on the year. And this call to the pen is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank, it's about time, and we're back in a moment. Now playing second base. Suaje moves over to third. Villanueva is out. And the new pitcher is Robbie Erlin, a left-hander.
Erlin 1-3 with a 4.03. This is his 27th appearance, and the number that really jumps out at you is the low walk total. Just 6 walks in 51 and a third innings of work. He has struck out 44. Of a finesse type lefty, average fastball velocity a tick below 90. Sinks it. Good curveball and changeup.
Happ with a homer, a walk, 2 runs scored, and batting right-handed for the first time tonight.
He does draw a lot of attention when he's on base.
Ooh, that was boxed and a cross up. Ellis has to run it down. Kind of flip a coin, pass ball, wild pitch. Hard to catch a pitch that you're not sure is coming, but it did hit him right in the glove.
Normally a catcher can react when it's a breaking ball. It's when they're looking soft and it's a fastball they have a hard time, but this curveball was so high.
Infield in again, and it is a pass ball. And Happ with a healthy cut. So to finish the point about the Padres uniforms, I guess the one color that will not be a part of the new mix is orange. Some fans thought the brown and orange looked too much like the black and orange of the Giants. So it'll either be the brown and the gold or the current kind of navy blue look. And I hope they go back to the old school.
Well, that's their own
brown.
Yeah, it's kind of their identity.
They have to submit everything to MLB, I think, by next spring for the following season. Baez trying to get the best jump he could, and that ball hit the bat, and he was on the move. Swing and a miss. Happ strikes out. Infield can move back with 2 outs. Time for a home run cam brought to you by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Yeah, down and through for his 18th home run. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Also singled. 2 batted in.
High to left. Myers makes the play. Baez 2-run double, and the Cubs add some insurance in the 5th. Diego batting here in the 5th. Their runs came on an Eric Hosmer 2-run homer. Outside to Freddie Galvis.
Kyle's thrown strike 1 to only 8 of 17. well below what he normally does. Hasn't been locked in here tonight. It's been more of a battle for him. A lot of times you'll hear pitchers say, well, I didn't have my best stuff. And I think more often than not, they don't have their best command of their stuff. They don't have the best feel when they have an off night. The question is, when you're out there with your subpar game, your B game or your C+ game, can you still manage to hold the other club down? And it's in the case for Kyle here tonight. We're up to 93 pitches already in the 5th. That's a real big number, especially for him.
Lofted to Schwarber in left.
This father-son moment is brought to you by Sports Clips Haircuts. Check in online at sportclips.com/check-in and claim your spot today at any of the over 90 Chicagoland locations.
Jose Perella came in as part of the double switch. Now playing second base and takes a strike on the outside edge. Another rough go for Luis Perdomo. ERA now at 7.55. He gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3.
Home is where the hurt is for Perdomo. He's really struggled here.
What was your what was the key to the game?
The Petco friendly.
Oh, Petco
unfriendly for
yes, and home is where the hurt is.
Well, no, that didn't make it through. That was like the rough draft of the big production meeting to come up with the keys of the game.
Well, we were really
we were grinding
on it.
You
were saying nope.
We were trying to come up with an Anchorman theme. We were thinking
military,
Beach Boys, military, and then Vince came up with the play on Petco with Pet Friendly and
Vince Lodel, our fine associate producer.
He nailed it.
As Addison Russell will get Perella. Little peek behind the curtain.
We spend hours working on that.
Hey, Cub fans, if you miss any of tonight's action, ABC 7 rebroadcasts its Cubs matchups on the Live Well Network. Cubs Padres will air in its entirety beginning at 1 a.m. on ABC 7's digital channel 7.2 and those cable channel positions on your screen. Jankowski takes a curve for a strike. Left-handed batting center fielder. Homered last night. Sinker low. 1-1. Probably not in the lineup tomorrow against the lefty Lester. And a ground ball backhanded by Russell. Hendricks starting to feel it. Back-to-back 1-2-3s, and he's got a 3-run lead.
Brought to you by Comcast Business, built for business. Home Run Derby is coming up, and some of the highlights: 9 home run minimum in the first round. If you don't get 9, you're done. The 2 versus the 5 seed has reached the finals the last 2 times. So, know where to place your wagers.
And just to be clear, you can hit fewer than 9, but if you do, you're probably not going to get to the next round.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yes.
I interpreted it as if you didn't have 9, you're done.
No, there's not a 9 homer minimum, like a 2-drink minimum. As we continue to have our production meeting on the air, we'll go through it one by one.
So what they're saying, in the past, if you didn't have at least 9, you didn't advance.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yep. So 2-5 has been the magic matchup. And Bryant and Rizzo, the last teammates. Caratini on a 1-0 takes a strike. Victor, converted infielder. And I asked him today, how long did it take you until you felt like you were good in terms of being a full-time catcher? He said, it took me a couple years. Kind of calling the game. That's the nuanced part of the job that takes a while. Tommy Ristella on deck for Hendricks. We went 5 to qualify for a win tonight if the bullpen can hold him. Galvis moving to his glove side.
He fairly bounces out there, doesn't he? Galvis, man, he's fun to watch play. Well, I think catching is harder now than ever before because, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you could argue that it's easier because there's so much information at their disposal that if they do their homework and learn the scouting reports, then they can take that out there with them into the game. But there is so much to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not flying by the seat of your pants these days, for sure. Like we do up here.
And that's why, you see, Rossi used to wear that cheat sheet, and you see other guys doing it. I saw it today. I was channel surfing, and I came across a softball game. It was the U.S. versus Japan. I'm not sure exactly what the tournament was, and
Hosmer will take
that
it
till next inning.
Yeah, save that thought. It does say a lot about you that we come out here to San Diego and your version of surfing is with the remote. 5-2 Cubs in the 6th. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Randy Rosario.
Shorty for Kyle tonight as he goes 5, turns it over to the bullpen, and Randy Rosario comes in for the 22nd time. He's picked up 4 W's along the way, a 1.38 ERA. His first significant stretch of big league action. Doesn't strike out many, but he has been effective.
And the break comes at a good time for him with a pretty heavy workload. Cubs have really been diligent in not riding the bullpen too hard, especially the closer Brandon Morrow. But they've had a lot of extra inning games here lately, as we mentioned. So,
and it's just so important to have depth, guys at AAA that you can bring up and plug in for a couple weeks at a time to take the load off some of your main guys.
2-0 on Asuaje, who has 2 hits, a stolen base, and a run scored tonight. Missed again. Don't want to be walking people ahead of Myers and Hosmer if you can help it.
Asuaje, not a power guy either, so yeah, he's the type of hitter you're willing to just kind of throw it in there, let him hit it. Hopefully he hits it at somebody.
Four-pitch walk. Take the power of AccuWeather on the go this weekend. Download the new AccuWeather app today. Get Chicago's most accurate forecast from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Oh yeah, so the softball.
Yes.
It's the USA International Cup taking place in Irvine. But the batter, she had a cheat sheet on her arm as a batter, so it must be going over what the pitcher likes to throw in certain counts.
Well, that's next level stuff. Yeah. Strike on Myers. No batting gloves, so just grabs a handful of dirt between pitches. Runner at first, nobody out, 6th inning. That's why Mom says wash your hands before dinner. After you get back from the baseball diamond. Rookie James Norwood up in the Cubs bullpen. Undistracted by Myers grabbing the dirt.
Constantly working those hands, rolling the bat up and down a little bit, trying to stay loose.
Crank foul.
Could really whip that bat head. Joe was talking about Jason Hayward a while back. Jason was struggling, so he needed to get his hands involved more, get a little more whippy. It was more of a, when you use your arms, it's more of a drag. It's instead of popping the barrel.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Fastballs and sliders from Rosario. Cubs pen over the last 9, posting a 1.01 ERA. Awfully good last night. Covered 5 innings, allowed 1 run. They did not walk a man. Struck out 12.
Baez right to the bag. 2. 4-3 to end the inning. We go to the 7th. Cubs lead 5-2. (911) called day or night at 1-833-PLUM 911. Plumbers 911, your plumbing connection. Paul Goldschmidt on the hot side and Brandon Crawford cold.
Warmer. They're getting hot. Remember when Paul Goldschmidt was done? He's done. He hit 144 in the month of May. He was getting overpowered, and everybody was talking about his inability to hit fastballs. At 364 in June, he's batting .413 in July.
Yeah, so he wasn't done.
No. He's an all-star, isn't he?
Yes. For the 6th consecutive season.
Teammate Zach Greinke was just added to the team.
One and one on Rizzo, leading off both games in this series, and has been on base on 5 occasions. Low from Erlin.
See the body language of Anthony. Less doubt, more aggressive with the swings.
Got him looking.
The MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here for $39.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB At-Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this sale.
Bryant takes a borderline pitch for ball 1. So back for the final 4 games of the break, or the first half, and then the All-Star break coming. Missed 16 games with the left shoulder issue. Way up in the air. It's Jankowski in center, and 2 down. Jason Hayward with 2 outs. You missed it earlier. The Brewers got swept in a doubleheader in Pittsburgh, 2-1 and 6-2. So they have now lost 5 straight on their current road trip. They have 2 more wins than the Cubs, but they have 4 more losses. So the Cubs right now technically a game up in the division. And if the Cubs hang on and win this game, they will go into the break in sole possession of first. Hosmer unassisted, and we will stretch here in San Diego. Cubs 5, Padres 2. Left-hander Randy Rosario, who worked a scoreless 6th. Hey, by the way, Eric Hosmer homered after I said he was 0 for 16, 4 for 55. You said he hits the ground on the ball on the ground. He's hit into 2 double plays since. I just want to remind our viewers that you were right. He does hit the ball on the ground a lot. He just didn't in the first inning. We tend to take the blame when those things happen, but don't get the credit on the other stuff.
I just said it was, with Hendricks being a ground ball guy and Hosmer hitting it on the ground more than anybody in the game except for Ian Desmond, that was the most likely outcome of a Hendricks-Hosmer matchup. But Hosmer, when he elevates, he's got a lot of power. He had 25 home runs last year. This guy has prodigious power. 6'4", 6'5", 275. Bat like a toothpick in his hands.
Deep but playable.
Count on Chicago's most accurate radar, live Doppler 7 Max, the most advanced technology, only on ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
A.J. Ellis takes a strike. By the way, quick follow-up on Paul Goldschmidt. We'll see the Diamondbacks on the upcoming homestand out of the break.
Yeah.
He's making $11 million this year. They've got a team option for next year, 14.5. They signed him to the early career.
Kind of like Riz.
Yes. They have gotten incredible value out of Paul Goldschmidt. This would have been his free, so 6 years of Major League service time going into this season. And this year, next year combined, he'll make $25.6 million. He'd probably make that in 1 year on the free agent market or more. It's a lot of money, but relative to the rest of the industry, you could have made more.
And it's what, when you sign those deals as a player, you know that the contracts are going to continue to escalate, and you will be underpaid is not the right word, but perhaps undervalued. But you pay, you like the security as a young player.
Rizzo's deal was 7 years, $44 million. So he's making about 7.3 this year, over 12 next year, and then 2 club options for 16.5. 2020, 2021. So again, yeah, the Cubs have gotten incredible value out of Anthony Rizzo and all their young players. Ellis draws the walk, something he's good at. And we will see a pinch hitter, Hunter Renfroe.
Let's look at Renfroe in this series. He's got big time power. I think he's going to look at the scouting report on him.
Jim Hickey out for a visit. Boy, what does it say about the confidence the Cubs have in all their bullpen guys? I mean, you get here and you pitch in big spots, and James Norwood is getting loose with a 3-run lead in the 7th inning, and he's only made 1 major league appearance.
Yeah, they're not afraid to throw him into the fire. Obviously, Carl Edwards Jr. is not here, so that changes things up a little bit. Cishek, Strop, Morrow all worked last night. Nobody really got overworked. Cishek threw 23 pitches. Strop 13, Morrow 12.
Club to deep center. Happ is back on it, and it's gone. A home run for Renfroe, and it's a 1-run ball game. And it has been a night of long balls, 2 for each team.
So many times it's the walk before the home run that you really regret. And talked about Renfroe having big time power, slider, and he just demolishes this ball. It might have been knuckling. He had a lot of funky action out there. You see where it ended up with, where Happ was headed and where that ball ended up. Where they were not going to intersect. Didn't matter because there was a big wall in the way.
5-4, seventh inning. Galvis with a liner caught by Baez. Two down. And Pirela will not face Rosario. Joe will make a move. And this call to the pen is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Lakeside Bank. It's about time. It's a one-run game in the seventh. We're back in a minute.
San Francisco the other day. The first inning went well. The second one not quite as well. He ended up allowing the game-winning hit to Buster Posey. It was fun to watch. Inning and two-thirds. He allowed 3 hits. Walked the man, had a couple of strikeouts. This is a guy who had never been in Major League spring training camp before. Started the year at Double-A. After a handful of really good outings there, got promoted to Triple-A. And now he finds himself in the big leagues, and he brings with him a plus fastball, upper 90s heater. Slider, change. He had a good split finger pitch going the other day.
His teammates were really impressed with his poise and certainly his stuff.
Seventh-round pick, 2014, out of University of St. Louis, by way of the Bronx.
It fouled to right.
Or is it St. Louis University? I'm not sure which.
It's St. Louis University.
Yeah,
Slew.
Yep. See, where I come from, Slew is St. Lawrence University.
Ah. Happ roaming center tonight. And the Padres done in the seventh. They close the gap. It's a one-run ball game late. Lakeside Bank. It's about time. Phil Maton here in the 8th inning.
Maton worked a scoreless inning in the ball game last night. He's working for the 20th time, and he's posted a 1.31 ERA. Well, how about the job Robbie Erlin did? 2 2/3 perfect. A couple of strikeouts.
Pitch to Baez. Misses off the outside corner.
The start of the game is brought to you by Mattress Firm, where your budget stretches further. Javier Baez is the second player in franchise history with 18 home runs and 18 stolen base prior to the All-Star break. Sammy Sosa did it in '96. He's a member of the coveted 18-18 club. Pretty good chance he'll be a member of the 30-30 club by the time the season is done. It's that backup slider, the elevated one we were talking about earlier, that you don't really tend to throw, but a lot of times it works out for you.
You got him.
Followed it up with a good one. Got away with the bad one and then snapped off a dandy.
Rockies are playing really good ball here as of late. They've won 11 of 13 and 5 consecutive series. 4-1 over the Mariners tonight. It's a pretty good division, the National League West. Padres the only team currently under 500. Giants trailing in the 8th at home against the A's 4-3. Giants won last night.
Giants getting their pitchers back healthy, so they have a real shot.
And the Dodgers lost, and the Diamondbacks winning, so Arizona jumps back over LA into first. Out in the left center, and Myers will not get there in time. It's a base hit. Ian Happ with his second hit and third reach. And the drive of the game is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Kyle Schwarber with the opposite field to give the Cubs the lead in the 4th.
And not a big one by his standards, but count all the same.
That gets away, and Happ will move to second.
It's a high fastball, and it's almost spiked. Ellis not able to make an adjustment. Not only can he not catch it, couldn't knock it down. Happ gets a free base. It goes as a wild pitch. Dodger loss to the Angels tonight was in 10 innings. And then Jansen suffered the loss. Cole Calhoun took him deep. Schwarber's going to get past here.
Russell with runners at first and second as the Cubs try to pad their lead. They did it back in the fifth, but then Renfroe with a pinch hit 2-run homer made it a 1-run game once again. Fly down the right field line. Coming over is Reyes. Looks like he'll have a play, and he did, and he didn't make it. That's a foul ball. He got a glove on it.
Yeah, I think he lost his way. Wasn't sure how much room he had. He started to break it down as if he were closer to the wall than he really was.
Jam shot, base hit. Here comes Happ. Throw goes to third. Schwarber safe. 6-4.
Ball's running in on him, and he just nudges it into shallow right field. So not great contact. The play before the foul ball, I think, was just ruled a no play, no error, but a play that should have been made. Russell gets new life, takes advantage. Happ scores for the third time tonight.
So a 2-run lead. Russell with his first hit of the series. Victor Caratini takes low, knocked down by Ellis. They'll play for 2 in the middle of the infield. One and one the count.
Ben Zobrist out on deck for Norwood.
Ground ball fair. Schwarber in. Russell will be sent as Reyes picks it up. Addison scores. 8-4. 2-run double. Victor Caratini.
Yeah, well, Cubs have been so good in the late innings this year. We talked about it frequently. 7th inning on, they are really outscoring their opponents. And he just reaches out on this backdoor slider, hooks it right down the first base line to drive in 2. Should be enough, but no reason not to get more. Zobrist with an opportunity, a man on second base. He's been really good with runners in scoring position.
Pinch hitter Ben Zobrist. 3 big ones here in the 8th. Called strike.
Wilson Contreras will be back behind the plate tomorrow. Joe wanted to give him a day off this weekend, but he and Baez both participating in the All-Star game. Chance Javi doesn't play tomorrow, especially since the Cubs don't get Thursday. Cubs and the Cardinals will play the only game in MLB that day.
That one gets away, and Caratini will advance.
Yeah, whether they're wild pitches or pass balls, whatever, A.J. Ellis had a hard time back there tonight.
That will bring the infield in after the second wild pitch of the inning from Maton. And fouled away.
In many ways, a wild pitch is a catcher stat too. Obviously,
sure.
The scoring says otherwise. It says it's on the pitcher, but catcher's really good back there. Kind of like a first baseman bailing out his infielders by picking balls in the dirt.
On the ground, Caratini will hold at third as Perella throws to Hosmer. And it brings up Rizzo with 2 outs.
Hey, it almost sounded like you said sarsaparilla. You said asparilla. Carry on.
I don't know what to say to that. I guess I don't have anything to add. Popped him up. And caught by Galvis. Galvis Perella. That's the Perella. 8-4 Cubs in the 8th. Bank, Lakeside Bank, it's about time. Brian Dunsing's second consecutive day of work after returning from the DL.
37th appearance for the veteran left-hander. He's 2-0 with a .684 earned run average. Faced Jankowski last night and struck him out.
We had a funny conversation with Brian about the rehab assignment at Tennessee this week. It was the Chris Bryant show, and Brian kind of had fun with the idea that he was a bit of an afterthought for some people. He doesn't mind. Hayward for out number 1. Here's a Schwahe who has singled, and walked. First career stolen base as well.
And what was the story Brian was telling, that they had all kinds of memorabilia and things for KB to sign, and he grabbed a couple of post-it notes and was just putting his name on them. Similar experience one time getting off the team bus in New York, and a guy had asked me for my autograph, and I was halfway through it, and he saw Mike Scott coming behind me, and he ripped his clipboard out of my hands. He said, "Mike Scott."
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, it can be humbling, right? Yeah. You're in the big leagues. Brian's been in the big leagues for a long time, so there's obviously cachet that comes along with that. And then you go spend a couple of days on a rehab assignment with Chris Bryant. And you can kind of fly under the radar.
There's a lot of the star power there. I just remember sometimes walking into the ballpark, coming off the team bus, you know, with a group of players, and if Nolan was with us, it was like, we're good, man. We got Nolan on our side. Whether he was scheduled to pitch that night or not, there was just a certain vibe.
A Schwahe on yet again. Oh, the best one is when someone walks up to you and you think you're about ready to grab a pen for an autograph. They go, "Hey, could you take a picture of my wife and me?" Sure. Got it. Here's Myers. 1 for 3. Single and 2 strikeouts. The feedback I'm getting from Twitter on your softball cheat sheet is that it's signs.
Signs?
Yes. And that coaches can just flash numbers instead of go through the signs like they do in the big leagues. Yeah.
So like a pattern of signs might be like a Morse code, like 2-1-2-1-2 or 2-1-3.
Verbal signs.
So I think what third base coaches should do now is, like, you know, in the NFL when they look over the sideline and they're holding up all kinds of like different pictures and things that have meaning. That'd be next level.
Glenn Hoffman has been with the Padres for a long time as their third base coach. His brother Trevor goes into the Hall of Fame later this month.
Normally with pretty good command, but 1 walk and now behind Myers, got a 4-run cushion. Obviously he doesn't want to be missing the strike zone. Sometimes there's a little gap between the want to and the execution.
He got under one. Didn't want to trail the Padres this time of the night when Trevor Hoffman was their closer.
Yeah, that's a pretty good run for a former shortstop.
One little kind of inside note. Trevor Time t-shirts being worn by a bunch of fans tonight. said he had quite a post-game ritual. I'm not sure it was like a workout he did, but like the team bus, I know when he was with Milwaukee, typically you'd have like a 50 or 60-minute bus. It would be like 90 minutes after the game because he had a lot of stuff he had to do after the game.
And they would push the bus back to accommodate.
Yep.
Huh.
A future Hall of Famer, man.
I don't know, man. It's like take an Uber. Pay for a car service, big boy. You're going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, when it's getaway day, you can't leave town without your closer.
Well, last time Hick went out there, Rosario gave up a home run. Hopefully it's better luck this time. Kyle Hendricks in position to pick up his 6th win. He went 5 tonight, allowed 5 hits and 2 runs. Oof.
Hosmer homered in the first and has hit into 2 double plays since. Happ and Hayward get together, and it'll be the center fielder for the final out. Padres strand 1. Nice work by Dunsing in the 8th. The latest news, weather, and video with you wherever you go. Get the ABC 7 Chicago News app today. Right-hander Phil Hughes.
Well, the veteran's been around a long time. Cut loose earlier this year by the Twins. He's worked 17 times with a .584 ERA. 10 of those appearances coming in a Padre uniform. First came to the big leagues with the Yankees back in 2007 as a starter. And that's what he has been most of his career.
Bryant fouls away. 1-1. We're in the ninth. Cubs lead by 4.
Still only 32 years of age. I would have guessed older. Funky delivery. Short arms it.
Yankee twin Padres kind of on the Dave Winfield career journey. He's going to have to play for the Angels and maybe a little time with Toronto and Cleveland. Line drive, base hit.
Second knock of the night for KB. Everybody in the Cubs starting lineup except for Kyle Hendricks with a base hit tonight, at least one. Curve ball down out over the outer third, and KB reaches out, delivers a solid single. I wonder if Phil's any relation to Pat. I wonder how Jeff Garland would say his name.
Phil Hughes. I'm guessing Pat and Phil are not related. Feels like something we would know.
Yeah. But you never know. Maybe somewhere down the line.
Pat and Ron over on radio.
13th cousin, twice removed, something like that.
Hi, Zach. There's Zach Zaidman. 1-1. Broken bat, flare, base hit. And Bryant will get all the way to third. Hope everybody's all right in the Padres dugout. That bat hit the net above the dugout?
Yeah, it hit the net and then it bounced safely back down. Everybody was covering their head and trying to take evasive action. This has been shattering a few bats here lately, but a positive result. His second hit of the night. First time up, he really smoked the ball. He could easily have 3.
I have a feeling we'll see a couple of those swings on Monday. The 0-1 from Hughes. Hit in the air out in the deep right. Back at the wall is Jankowski. That ball's gone. 3-run jack for Baez. And they've broken it wide open. He's knocked in 5 tonight.
Well, Schwarber homered earlier to tie him for the club lead, and obviously not so fast, my friend. Number 19 for Baez, and he's got this place rocking. Toyota home run replay. Tested, trusted Toyota. Look out, look out. Oh my goodness. (11-4) here in the 9th inning. The big swing on the previous pitch. I thought maybe Hughes would try to knock him off the plate a little bit.
Happ skies to left. That's Myers.
Hey, you got your wish. Tired of all those close games.
Yeah.
Well, this one played close most of the night.
So here's the question. All right. This is the Cubs' 92nd game. Just past the halfway point. It's Rob Z up in the bullpen. I know you haven't done any research on this question, but if the season ended after the game tonight,
who would be the Cubs MVP?
No.
Oh, okay.
How many NL MVP votes would Baez get? Now, he's not leading the league in OPS. The slugging numbers are right at the top. You know, Eugenio Suarez is up there. Obviously, Jesus Aguilar has had a great year. But the Cubs have the best record in the National League, and Baez has been their best player. So could I make a case for him as the MVP?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really try to be fair here and not just say it because he's our guy. But I think, you know,
Now, yeah, and we've had the MVP conversation in the past. I prefer that award go to the guy who has the best year, regardless of whether he's on a winning team or not. But most of the voters do take that into consideration. So I think, you know, because for all the reasons you mentioned, plus all the work on the bases and the defense.
You mentioned Goldschmidt. He's now the overall numbers really good. Called strike 3.
Schwarber strike.
Freddie Freeman, Nolan Arenado, other guys who are in that conversation. But I think when you add all of it up, not just the offense but the defense and the base running,
and that takes you know, some next level digging, I think, for the voters, because normally they're going to focus on the offensive numbers. Unless a guy's playing shortstop or catcher, you know, those premium defensive positions, I think that sways voters. Now, Baez is a plus defender regardless of where you put him, but shortstop's a more demanding position. And it seems to me that the voters reward, you know, again, shortstops, catchers, if they perform at a real high level offensively, even though they might not be, say, top 5 in the league offensively, but they do it playing one of those two positions, they tend to get upgraded.
we have called Navi the most exciting player in the league, and I don't think you'll get a lot of argument on that, but he's been one of the best players, period.
And I know Fangraphs and Baseball Reference, I think they figured their wins above replacement differently. I'm just pulling up Fangraphs here. Javi ranks 8th in the league, well, tied 7th and 8th. He and Scooter Jeanette, 3.3. Arenado 1, Freeman 2, Lorenzo Cain 3. I mean, they're all bunched together there, but those would be your candidates. Goldschmidt, Ozzie Albies, Suarez.
The other thing that helps a candidate in a weird way is that you're clearly the best player on your team in terms of that year. Because if you have 3 kind of MVP type guys, it feels like you kind of cancel each other out. I think John Lester and Kyle Hendricks hurt each other's Cy Young bid. A couple years ago. Well, actually, was it when Arrieta won it? The Cubs had three at the top, whatever.
It was 2016.
Yeah. So that could play into it too. I mean, if Chris Bryant, they missed the 16 games, but if he has this huge second half and all of a sudden he's in the mix, that could change things for Baez. But fly ball out into right. Reyes on the move.
Scherzer won 16. Jake was 15.
Okay, yeah, so 16 was the year I was talking about. Yep, Baez with a 3-run homer, a 5 RBI night, and the Cubs blowing them out in the 9th. Local Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. All-star Javier Baez with a double, a homer, 5 knocked in his base running. Won the game in the 10th last night.
What, 71 batted in now for Javi, and you know that add-on runs in the 9th obviously affects how Joe uses the bullpen. He'll turn it over to Rob Sestrizny now. Pitching for the 6th time, and he's 1-0 with a 1.69. Reyes, Ellis, and a pinch hitter.
One and 0 on Reyes. That's a strike. Javier Baez will just obliterate all of his previous career highs in terms of counting stats. Already a career high in doubles. He's 4 off his career high in homers. He's 4 off his career high in RBIs. Stolen bases. His previous best 12. He's got 18. He's stolen home twice already. You know, the other thing Joe has been really good at, we talked about the fact that he has spread out the playing time, and there's been DL time that has kept some guys' game totals and inning totals down on defense. Reyes draws the walk. But going into this season, knowing that Javi was going to play basically every day second base, finding ways to get Ben Zobrist playing time. Thought that would be a real challenge. Ian Happ too.
Yeah, he just commits to it. I mean, I think any manager is smart, especially the first half of the season, to keep everybody involved, give everybody a chance to get into the flow of the season, and don't overreact when a guy goes through a tough spell.
Ellis with a fly to deep center. Still back is Happ, and right up against the wall, he hauls it in.
You run the same lineup out there day after day after day, and guys are going to get buried on the bench, and they're never going to be able to get into a rhythm. And so when you need them, they're not going to be there for you. As you get later on in the season, if you're in a tight pennant race, you narrow your focus a little bit.
Manuel Margot takes high.
Well, that's the other thing. You know, the data tells us that, you know, it used to be managers would make decisions just right or left depending on who was pitching. Now there's certain guys are good against velocity, certain guys are good against finesse pitchers, some guys are good against low ball versus high ball pitchers. So all those things factor into the makeup of the lineup from one day to the next, along with the other considerations about, I got to keep this guy fresh, I got to keep this guy involved.
Well, I also think there are very few position players, if any, who should make more than 150 starts. I really think you get to the point of diminishing returns. And you don't get a breather every now and again.
Physical and mental. Sometimes you just got to be taken out of the fray a little bit so the mind can quiet down.
Line shot into the corner and left. That'll be 2 for Margot. Second and third with one out here in the ninth. Cubs leading comfortably by 7. Nice knockdown by Caratini.
Spike change up there, I believe. He's not a real hard thrower, but I think his fastball is deceptive. He's got a real quick arm stroke. This is a breaking ball of some sort.
Strike called. 1-1.
20 appearances at AAA this year for Rob, a .365 earned run average, 37 innings of work there. 5 1/3 at the big league level prior to tonight.
Gets away and the runners will hold. Looked like Reyes could have easily scored, but you can't blame him for anchoring there. 3rd down 7. Because if you get thrown out, it's like the worst possible scenario you can imagine.
Down a touchdown here.
And you know what, he can tell Galvis after the game, I wanted to give you an RBI chance.
Yeah, being a team player.
Steve Cishek is up in the bullpen. He was up earlier. Hit a ton, and that will score 2. So Galvis with a 2-run double, and it's 11-6.
Really well struck, but the way Kyle was pursuing it, I thought he had a beat on it, but that may have fooled him. That might have had a little more carry than he anticipated. Galvis really gets into this one. Imagine that initially Cishek was, hey, just start to toss, no urgency, but after that swing, you know, maybe let's get after it a little bit more.
Here comes Joe.
We might give him one more, but he's going to go ahead.
11-6 Cubs, 9th inning, and we're back in a minute.
Steve pitching for the 45th time. That'll put him in the top 10 in the National League. He's got a 1.91 ERA. This is a year one of a 2-year deal he signed this offseason. He has been very reliable.
Perello the batter, 2 runs in, 5-run lead. Galvis the runner at second base. 1 out here in the ninth. John Lester pitches tomorrow, leading the Cubs into the break.
I think Joe's main reason for using Cishek here is because he wants to stay away from Morrow, and had he left Z out there and things continued to go south, he might have felt compelled to get Morrow up.
Russell makes the grab. Perello lines out, 2 away. And it brings up Travis Jankowski. Just missed. Ball 1. 38,837. And a lot of them are Cub fans here tonight.
Witkowski hoping he gets something up above the knees, and Cishek everything down, down, down. Should get something to swing at here on 3-1.
Ground ball toward the middle. Baez to Rizzo. Cubs win. Cubs win 11-6. The final score. And Javier Baez is not walking into the All-Star break. He is sprinting.
Yeah, good effort tonight offensively. As I mentioned, everybody in the starting lineup with at least one hit. Happ also a hitting star tonight. He scored 3 runs. He homered. Schwarber goes deep as well. Hendricks did not have his A game tonight, but hung in there for 5 innings and picks up his 6th win.
The first place Cubs beat the Padres 11-6 the final from San Diego. And stay with us. We'll have more to come on ABC 7.